Good morning. Welcome to Energy Works. Today we're talking about the benefits of massage. So, not everybody loves to have a massage. A lot of people do love to have a massage, but not everybody. Sometimes massage is good for relaxing or shifting the lymphatic back up or helping yourself ground more, being actually in your body. Sometimes it's good to work on a particular problem or a painful area. Sometimes it's just to let your body stop and for someone else to care about you. Sometimes we're not so great at caring for ourselves, so it's good to allow someone else to care for us when we're not doing good at that. All right, so we're going to start with the earth chakra. So part of our energy field, our chakras, go around the body of different levels, but also there's one underneath the first chakra, which actually extends 1 meter into the ground. So we are actually connected into the earth. And I think that's really important because often we can feel a bit disconnected from earth. We can feel that we are not just not connected at all, sometimes not connected to other people or not connected to the earth or not even connected to ourselves. So it's like wanting us to feel a bit more connected to the earth and to feel that we're actually here and in our body. So let's say I love my body. I value my body. I treat my body with love and respect. I continue to learn from my body each day. All right, age 8. A stuck emotion. Feeling repressed emotions. So sometimes we can feel emotions very strongly and we can feel that we are unable or not allowed to express how we feel. And for some people, that might be crying. For some people, it may be anger or it may be resentment or other feelings that you may feel that are preventing you from being fully in your body and wanting to disconnect from your body. So it's like learning to reconnect to your body and to allow it to have a voice and to talk to us. All right, we're still at age 8. And the other feeling is low self-worth. And I guess if we're not being heard, we can feel not good about ourselves. We can feel that we're not worthy to be honoured. All right, so now we're going to jump up to the crown chakra. Right, I feel whole regardless of my circumstances. Some people have very difficult circumstances in childhood. They may not have enough food, or they may not have shelter, or they may not feel safe. So it's like learning to see value in who we are, not from what we're doing or what we have or where we live or, whatever other part of our life we want to measure ourselves on. All right, so I'm going to jump up into the solar star chakra, which is way above the crown chakra, 2.5 to 3 meters above. So it's like we are quite big beings in terms of our energy field. All right, and what comes up is kind of like box ticking and to-do lists. It's like feeling like you have to, have done everything. Sometimes it's great to have to-do lists because you can see what you're doing and what you need to do, and you can get things done. All right, so we're going to talk about Douglas fir oil. So Douglas fir is a generational oil that helps clear generational baggage. And this is about generational wisdom. Right, it encourages respect for one's elders and ancestral heritage. Ancestral heritage. Douglas fir reminds individuals that valuable wisdom can be obtained by learning from the past especially from individuals who are wiser, older, and more experienced. So you could use Douglas fir for generational healing. Because there can be deep patterns in, good morning, whoever's on now. Sometimes there are generational patterns that we are continuing to live that are not really our patterns, but they've kind of been set up in our family. So it's like we are the chain breakers, and we are the people that are to change these patterns that are no longer of value to us. So another oil. All right, so we're going to talk about one of the children's blends called Stronger. Stronger teaches how to draw strength from the divine. It urges individuals to model their strength after divine strength, which is based in truth and love. It reminds individuals that inner fortitude grows with self-love and love for others. The deeply resonating message of Stronger is that when individuals are living from their center of truth, they are at their strongest. So it's like wanting us to return to the basis of our individual truth. Okay, so stuff stuck in our mind. All right, so we're going to talk about forgiveness. So forgiveness of others. For feeling vicious. And it's a colleague. All right, so some colleagues are a little vicious and they can, so present female that's vicious. All right, so an oil called Tulsi, which is also called holy basil. So Tulsi's greatest influence is on the spiritual and energetic plane. It reveals the often unseen strain of living out of alignment with one's spiritual purpose. It reminds individuals on a soul level of their purpose, which existed before they manifested physically on this earth. It helps them release their resistance to life and spiritually integrate for full actualization. Tulsi is an indispensable aid in spiritual awakening. And sometimes when we're being attacked by other people, it is hard to remember our spiritual purpose. It's hard to feel that God loves us and cares for us when we're being attacked. But I guess these are ways that we do become stronger and more resilient as we can see past the person's attack. That the attack is not actually about us, even though they may be attacking us. The problem is that they don't feel good within themselves, that they need to stand on someone else's face to be taller. So we might use Tulsi to feel healed. That we can see that this is not our problem, that this is someone else's problem. So sometimes when one time I was having a massage and I had this really strong pain in my foot. And I asked the lady massaging, "Oh, did you put something on my foot?" She's like, "No." So it was like I had a stiletto through my foot. And, it was connected to a particular experience I was having at the time. But it's like it felt like that I was unable to move forward because I had this stiletto in my foot. So it's like pulling out the energetic weapons of other people sometimes when they, through their inadequate understanding of living true to their point and not living through other people's bodies or energies, it's like they can inadvertently hang on to us. So it's like learning to understand that this what they're doing, this attack that they're doing to us, is again not really about us. It's about them and what they would like from us, even though that may not be correct. All right, other stuff stuck in our mind. All right, I easily see the lessons that are to be learned from my challenges. So, we talk about if you point at someone, there's, one finger pointing at us, but there's three fingers pointing back to the other person. So when someone has a go at us or when someone is angry at us or tearing strips off us, it's like, okay, I can own a quarter of this, but the rest is yours. And not that you might say that, but it's like understanding and having a little bit of emotional space where you're seeing, well, actually, you're going off at me, but this is really not about me. This is about a challenge that you're facing in your life and you're wanting to vent it on me. All right, so we're going back to the higher chakras, so the I think it's galactic chakra. Yep. All right. Okay, so we have records stored within our body and our mind and even in our brain of everything that happens to us is stored. So it's stored energetically in a non-physical way, and it's also stored physically. So all our thoughts, experiences, and feelings. So some people call this the book of life. So this phase, when this chakra begins to open, is about overcoming your ego. So often our ego sort of wants to separate us from other people and, keep you away, you're not safe. So also it's about letting go of earthly attachments. So in the end, we can't really take anything with us, can we? We can only take what we've learned and what we understand and what's in our heart. All right, so the oil cardamom. All right, cardamom demands that individuals stop blaming others. It asks them to take personal ownership and responsibility for their feelings. As they do, they will feel more at peace, calm, and in control of themselves. So if you're struggling to control yourself, you might use some cardamom. Especially when you're losing it a bit in your head. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to go into the universal chakra, which is even higher again. It's above the 11th one, which we were just talking about before. So sometimes we can have a little bit of hypochondria. We can be very worried about, what's wrong with us, or feeling that we're not good enough, or not healthy enough, or not strong enough. And it's helped by solitude. So I don't know, do you ever get solitude? Sometimes it's a hard thing to have, isn't it? To actually claim some time by yourself and to actually sit and be still and enjoy that. All right, I am infinite, which means you've always existed and you always will exist. It may just be in a different format. All right, C5 in our neck. So it's the sugar circuit. So feeling stuck in our neck. Feeling overlooked. Good morning, Elizabeth. So we're talking about the benefits of massage, and I guess allowing yourself to actually lie down and stop, and allowing someone else to care for you is really important. When did you last have one? Now we're going back to the 8th chakra, which is about that connection to the earth. It's been cold in the mornings and at night, but in the middle of the day, it's quite beautiful, even though it's winter. So if in your lunch hour you could sneak outside for a bit and lie in a towel and put your feet in the grass, that would be really lovely. Vetiver oil. So vetiver is very grounding, very earthy. I love it. So vetiver challenges the need to escape pain. It centers individuals in their true self and guides them downward to the root of their emotional issues. It helps them find relief, but not through avoidance. Relief comes after they have traveled within and met the core of their emotional issue. So another oil that could go with that is hinoki, which is a Japanese oil. Which is about natural harmony. Hinoki also assists individuals in removing their disorder and disharmony, which may have built up in their lives. It creates an energetic fluidity that allows the movement and ultimate release of what is creating the disorder. Hinoki holds a solemn respect for the natural order and universal flow. Without force or haste, it leads individuals into the necessary work of becoming balanced and harmonious once more. It holds an energetic place of being honourable and true that is impervious to outside degradation or influence. In this way, hinoki teaches individuals how to be more harmonious within their surroundings and less affected by the turbulence of life. So I really like that. I think that would be a beautiful blend, hinoki and vetiver. And just getting yourself back into harmony, isn't it? Elizabeth, too long ago. So where is it stuck in your body? Where do you feel these things? Also, this will help you to feel honourable. So it's like sometimes we feel like we sell our soul when we have to do things that are not in harmony with what we align with. So it's like helping you to come back to what is really important to you. All right, other stuff stuck in our mind. Basic mistrust can sometimes be a reflection of our belief that you have to do life all by yourself, that you are on your own. Trust, in a nutshell, is the knowledge that you do not have to do life all by yourself. To trust ourselves, our true selves, is to see the difference between our divine nature and our ego. We are not our myriad of thoughts telling us that we are ugly and incapable, that the world is scary and unfriendly. We are the observer of those thoughts. Trust more in the observer and not the ego. The world is our mirror, and the lens of trust will change our experience. It's safe for me to trust my partner with money or children. I trust my body's ability to return to full health. I trust my muscle testing. So sometimes when we're learning energy clearing, it can be tricky to trust your muscle testing in the beginning and what you find. So now we're going to talk about the aura. Fourth layer. So this is the astral body, and it's like interactions, relationships, and bonds. So a tear in the aura. Current female. And some stuck emotions in there. Feeling taken for granted. Right, so the Celtic weave, so in the right hip. And what's hiding there is resentment. So working through that right hamstring would be helpful. And the gluteal muscles as well. And hips can be about like choosing direction, which way do I go? Do I go this way or do I go that way? So back to the aura, we go in the sixth layer, which is about emotions and spiritual communion. So stagnant energy. Again, the feeling of being taken for granted. So sometimes we're giving more than we should give in a situation. All right, so now we're going in the third layer of the aura. So this is about our thoughts and ideas. Again, stagnant energy. Female from the past. Age 17. All right, so large intestine meridian now we're going to talk about. So large intestine meridian starts on your index finger and it goes up your arm, your neck, and it crosses over to the opposite nostril. So 11 is like on the corner of your elbow. It's often quite sore there. So you could rub that spot. So in that large intestine meridian, feeling defensive. And sometimes we can feel defensive too, if we've grown up in families that are a little bit more vocal and maybe a little bit more attacking. We can feel that we have to defend ourselves in many situations. So now I'm going to talk about the kidney meridian. So that starts at the ball of your foot, winds around the inner ankle, comes up the inside of your legs, and comes all the way up to these points in here, just under your collarbones. So some stuck feelings in there. Feeling left out. Anyway, is there anywhere in your body that's complaining or telling you that where the energy's stuck? Is there someone that you would like to dedicate this to? So now we're going to go into the heart meridian. So the heart meridian starts on your middle finger and it goes like up the inside of your wrist up into your armpit. The feeling that's stuck in there is being quick-tempered. So other people being quick-tempered. All right, and then the feeling for us then when people are like that is impending doom. So it's like you're waiting for something to go wrong. Good morning, Susanna. Just a little reminder, we're having a get together on Saturday evening at 6. Oh, touch the printer cord, sorry. All right, well, also the electric. So it's like if you hold your forehead in the back of your head, and you can try different ways to see which one feels better. But it's like a reset. Sometimes we just, too much thinking, too much doing, and we just need to calm and stop for a moment. So I guess it's like giving yourself your own little massage, isn't it? Sort of holding space for yourself, whichever way feels good. Okay, so something in the left foot. So left foot's about fear of spiritual direction. So sometimes we get busy and we forget to ask God, what do you want me to do today? Or how can I, get through this part of my life in the way that you feel would be helpful to me? And asking the question. And then I guess when we ask the question, we have to take time to listen, which sometimes can be hard in this crazy world. So sometimes just being still for a moment or two, or putting your feet on the grass in your lunchtime, can be a time to hear messages that God might speak to us. And of course, the more that we listen to the messages, the more that we're going to get messages. Lisa's saying dedicate this to family too. We absolutely can. We can dedicate it to any person that you like. So now I'm just checking in. All our windows should be open to the light. We should keep our screens closed so that the flies or the insects don't come in, or the negativity, entities, that sort of thing. So a lot of screens to close. So sometimes we can have entities. Sometimes when we're indulging in our addiction, or when we're sometimes we just want to be in control, and that can be our addiction. And sometimes we can have entities that pass down from one generation to the other. So let's go into our solar plexus chakra. All right, I make all my life choices in the interest of my highest growth and learning. So sometimes we make choices that may not be great, but it's still the opportunity for our growth and learning, isn't it? Right, into the crown chakra. I am greater than any possession or relationship I have. Into Jenny's book as well. I'm giving and receiving unconditional love. So sometimes we only want to love people when they do what we tell them to do or when they do the right thing. Unconditional love is loving them anyway, even when they're warts. Doesn't mean that we accept abuse. It doesn't mean that we condone bad behavior, but it means we can still love even though we can see that the person is operating from perhaps a childish or past situation that they're still locked into. Hooks in the aura, sixth layer of the aura. Hooks from females, present female. Okay. All right. So big breath in and out. So releasing these things that have come up. Is there someone else that comes to mind or some other situation that comes to mind? Is there some part of your body that it probably needs a massage or needs emotions releasing from it? And Lisa said as well, headaches, constipation. Yes, I can relate to what you're saying. I missed that line, sorry. All right. So maybe you could trade a massage with someone if you don't feel that you are ready to go and seek someone else. Maybe you can decide that you would do something that would be mutually beneficial. So being touched, I think, is very important. We actually do need physical contact. So the more, this is a quote from, this was in the email from John Naisbitt, the more high technologies around us, the more the need for human touch. High tech, high touch. The principle symbolizes the need for balance between our physical and spiritual reality. All right, so you might also have a massage to help yourself relax a little bit more and to be able to sleep better, improve your circulation, speed the healing of soft tissue injuries, move the lymph, reduce tension, improve your joint mobility, boost your immune function, improve your mental alertness, release stress. So this is a quote from the email. Think of it like this: you're only one massage away from a better mood. Giving a massage to those who need it is also very fulfilling. So sometimes we can give a massage to somebody to help release their stress. All right. So who comes to mind when you think about that? Who do you think needs a hug or a massage or a pat on the shoulder or a hand rub or hand hold? We always can find people that are going through difficult times. So we can be the hands that help them to feel better or to feel loved. It's like being the Saviour's hands. All right, anyone else? Anything else that we might want to clear before we close the call? So hopefully if you're free on Saturday that you can come over to the clinic and we can hang out for a bit, bring a healthy plate of food. We can celebrate some of the birthdays that have happened and are happening. Anyway, grateful to know you, grateful for who you are, and grateful for what you're doing in the world and the difference that you make, even though sometimes we may not see the difference that we make. Okay, I'll end the call. See you.